I don't believe we're allowed to see this video, so we'll see what happens with this video moving forward. I believe I've been doing this for around about 10 minutes, hopefully, so we'll see if it gets flagged or not. Let's find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I've already made a video on what happened in Australia, and apart from my initial comments where I'm criticizing the government and their reaction, there's something that I want to talk about as well that stinks. And when I saw it, I just didn't really understand what was happening because it was so bizarre. It was so weird that I just didn't really know how to internalize it. But I've seen someone else talk about this recently, and I think what they're saying has legitimate merit. We've seen so many of these instances happen where there's a shooter, something's happening, and then things just don't make sense. The police don't react the way that they're supposed to react. The politicians don't react the way that a normal person would react. The things that they say are crazy. Like they're completely crazy. I'm going to play Paul Joseph Watson's video for a little while, and then I'll move on to the actual video that I really want to talk about. And I think you'll be as perplexed, shocked, intrigued as I was when watching this the first time. And again, I just couldn't really internalize that. I couldn't understand the behaviors of the people in the video because they were very, very strange, very suspect. So anyway, let's have a listen to this. Before I do this, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. That's all I'll say on that. You know that you should be doing it. There's not many channels out there like this. Support them while you can. All right, let's get on with it.
The utterly vile Bondi Beach attack leaves numerous disturbing questions about the government's bizarre response. Did the police respond quickly enough? The Bondi police station was a 4-minute walk from the beach. Legacy media coverage insists the police responded very quickly, but one eyewitness tells a different story.
Can you tell me?
This reminds me of all of the major public events that happen where there's like shooters or the Twin Towers, for example. You get the media that come out and tell you exactly what the story is. And then you get a few snippets of information that slip out where the eyewitnesses say, whoa, 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 that's not true at all. What really happened is not what the media is telling you at all.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, and there's 2 shooters, one on the bridge, one under the bridge. Just start to shoot for 20 minutes. They shoot, change the magazine and just shoot. Simple as that. 20 minutes with 4 policemen there. Nobody give fire back. Nothing, like they are froze. Like for it looked like 20 minutes.
We know that at one point a brave local disarmed one of the attackers.
Oh! I mean, yeah, he disarmed him, but then he'd let the shooter just walk off, go to his brother or his father or whatever, and then continue shooting with the gun that he was given there. So, I don't know, this all stinks, guys.
Hero, without a doubt. But should he have taken him out there and then? Because the terrorist walked away, picked up another gun and continued the shooting. Why didn't the police take him out when he was unarmed? The authorities were keen to shut down such questions with vehemency.
Just standing there, included that police, up to 4 police were standing around one of the active shooters, not giving fire back, just standing there. No witness said that it was like they froze.
James, no, sorry, hang on a sec. Wait, I'm just going to stop you there.
I'm going to stop you there, James, because you're getting way too close to the truth.
I'm not going to speculate on that right now.
And this isn't to take away from the police who eventually did take out the attackers. Thank God for them. And I'd be very careful about claiming these female police officers froze. Looks to me like they're just directing panicked onlookers. Others say these women literally saved lives. A coward hiding. Yeah, not really sure about that. I mean, it's a shootout with literal terrorists. She's not just going to be blasé walking around out in the open, is she? I mean, am I being too forgiving? Let me know in the comments. Some of the language used in the aftermath was very weird though. Their Prime Minister responding to an Islamic terror attack by 2 Pakistani Muslims by highlighting the threat of the right wing.
Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well.
Talk about burying the lead.
And also, it reminds me of the UK right now. They're saying that Russia is the ultimate threat while they're importing millions of people that hate our goods, that walk around the streets with impunity doing horrible things to children. But yeah, the biggest threat right now is Russia.
Is the number one priority for you?
Threats of other occurrences, such as the rise in the far right.
Yeah, why is that a priority?
Keir Starmer, right? Whenever there's an attack in the UK by these friendly Mohammedans, he comes out and says, actually, I want to talk about how the rise of the far right is the biggest threat in the UK right now.
Priority, given that 75% of your terror attacks are Islamic, a figure that's even higher now. I also keep hearing them being described as offenders.
One of the offenders has also been killed.
They're terrorists, just call them terrorists. While some people claim the police response was slow, the government's attempt to censor social media footage of the attack was swift, with the e-safety commissioner quickly organising to ensure its removal, highlighting again how one of the state's primary interests in the wake of such attacks is to try to steer and control the public's reaction.
What is your...
I will say one thing on this. They did allow certain videos to be propagated within the media. It's just there's a couple of videos that they really didn't want you to see, and that's what we'll have a look at in a sec.
message to the people watching that at home?
I think, first of all, don't let disinformation and misinformation ever rule the day. Listen to sources of truth, listen to the information, don't circulate things that exacerbate and take us down an even darker path.
An even darker path? What could be darker than the fact that our governments have imported monsters who are capable of this?
The father arrived in 1998 on a student visa, transferred in 2001 to a partner visa, and after each trip overseas since then has been on resident return visas.
But the son wasn't a migrant.
The son is an Australian-born citizen.
Seems that
The biggest threat is Russia and the far right.
Naveed Akram was born in Australia, so the xenophobes can probably pipe down about now. Right, so he was supposedly one of the well-integrated, assimilated ones. That's even worse. Just your average local Sydney man. His mother, after the attack, insisting that he was really a good boy.
Well, I guess he is a good boy because, if I can find it, one sec. Because if you've got mothers like this that say stuff like this, then you can probably understand why she would think he's a good boy. After all, he did his job. Good job, son. Good job.
We can't live with these people. Obvious signs of narrative control were in full swing less than an hour after the incident happened, with UK Labour MP Lola McAvoy absurdly insisting that the real takeaway should be that diversity's our greatest strength.
So the escalation of this narrative of who we're against and how much we want to divide each other.
We're against you. And people like you, the politicians that have done this to us. Yes, the Muslim problem is a massive problem, but you guys are perpetrating this on us, and you're lying to us about it. You're gaslighting us. You're allowing these things to happen constantly. The biggest enemy is not Islam. It's our own governments.
And how much we want to attack each other. That is really at the core of a lot of the problems that we have in the country at the moment. And I firmly believe that people are good and that given the opportunity, they will look out for each other. And I just want to say that as much as possible, we should try and detoxify the way that we think of people who aren't like us, because our diversity in this country is our strength.
Good Lord above. 2 Islamic terrorists have just massacred a bunch of people on a beach, and your first instinct is to demand that what? We be nicer to Muslims? Literally doing the Norm MacDonald meme. I urge you to think of the impact on the Muslim and indeed the wider community. This is why we call it civilizational suicidal empathy.
And I firmly am on the side of working together and celebrating our difference, because, you know...
How do you celebrate a difference? If someone is fundamentally different from you, why should you celebrate that? We have built these societies and we've come together as communities and people because we're all the same, and that makes us safe. Importing a bunch of Bakabazi bastards or Bork bastards into the country that go around shooting people, and that's the difference that they contribute with, that's not something I want to celebrate. Again, right, go watch his channel. He gets into more. This is a really, really good take on this whole thing. It's fascinating, guys, what's been happening in the media, what they've been saying, how they've tried to spin this. It's exactly the same as all the other times that they've done it. Whatever you do, do not blame the people that are doing this to you. blame yourself for being a racist. Anyway, so the video that I really want to highlight is this one. This is what I can only describe as a mask-off moment. I don't believe we're allowed to see this video, so we'll see what happens with this video moving forward. I believe I've been doing this for around about 10 minutes, hopefully, so we'll see if it gets flagged or not. Let's find out.
And this is where they all went out to the park and they played hide and go seek, only nobody knew who was it. And they were...
So this is the father, I think, the Pew Pew father. What he's doing now is very, very strange. You've got these people in the front that are ducking down for cover. I believe that they're ducking down for cover. I'm not sure. Maybe they're part of it as well. But I want you to concentrate on the two gentlemen. There's one here and there's another one here. Or there might be one that comes from off screen. Tell me if this is normal behavior.
Weren't even sure who the other players in the game were because it's out in a very public place with all kinds of extra people around that aren't.
So what he's saying there is, imagine there was a game being played where you had a bunch of actors enacting the game and they knew what was happening, but the other people in the public arena, they didn't know what was happening. So you had a couple of different people doing different things. You had people that were terrified and that was their genuine reaction. They were trying to get out of there. And we've seen a lot of those videos where there's people running away from the scene. But then you've got like really strange people doing very strange things, like they're not scared. Like they're communicating with each other. Let's watch this.
Playing the game. Trust me, this all works out. And the important thing here is that there's 10 or 20 players that are in on the skit, but there are thousands of people around that don't know that this filming is happening at the moment. And that's what makes for such a good skit, is all of the extras that don't realize that they're in the game. It was the exact same thing at Vegas. Here's a view of...
You need the authentic reaction of the public to make it believable. If they were all actors, then it wouldn't be great, would it?
Everybody down at the beach, and they hear tag, tag, you're it, tag. And so everybody's going away from that. Naturally, of course, they know this is what everybody's going to do. But let's just start out with this part of the game. It was recorded very well, from multiple angles. But what I'm...
And I don't believe he's saying that no one got injured or no one died here. Obviously, there's been some people that have been killed. Collateral, obviously. I don't want to get too far ahead, but he's not saying that this wasn't real. He's just saying that there was a bunch of people communicating and working together to make this... Let's say you wanted to create a narrative in which you're the eternal victim, targeting a festival in which one group of people that you really despise is going after your people. You really want that to come across as authentic as possible for the narrative.
About to show you, I think, was recorded by somebody that wasn't supposed to be there.
So he's saying right now that this cameraman, he was not supposed to be there. This is someone that is not supposed to be in this area filming. Everyone should have got out of there by now, too terrified. Only a lunatic or someone with balls of steel would actually stand there with his phone and film what's going on. So again, watch these guys in the background. Very strange behavior.
So here you see white shirt and another guy in the background, black shirt up front, and everybody obviously knows that he's...
Did you see that? So they're just casually walking while the guy is live firing, like they're not afraid of him, and then they point at the cameraman. And as they do, the shooter turns around and looks for him. And the cameraman shits himself. So watch this again.
In the lease. He's just sitting there kind of looking at him. That's 50 yards top away. He's right there in front of him. Now, the guy's kind of looking to the left of him, but still. And then the other guy comes up from behind here.
He spots the cameraman. He points directly at the cameraman. And then the shooter reacts to that guy.
He comes up and he points, and black shirt stops and turns around.
That is bizarre. Not only did they weren't bothered about the fact that this guy was live firing. They didn't give a shit. They didn't take cover. They stood in front of the cover. They pointed directly at the cameraman, and the cameraman reacted like he was in danger.
White shirt is looking directly at him, no cover whatsoever. The gray shirt over to the right, he kind of trots there for a second, and then he slows down and just starts walking across right in front, looks over at him. They're both looking at him. White shirt points, black shirt stops and turns around. Now, I think
look, the cameraman shits himself and hides, tries to hide. That is such bizarre behavior. Let me know what you guys think that is in the comments. We've seen all of these things time and time again whenever there's something bad happens in a public arena. These weird fucking things crop up where people are not acting the way that they should be acting. Like the last one I can think of is the Charlie Kirk incident where he was shot and then people in the crowd started claiming that they were the shooter and started to run away so that the other people could get away. And then there's the instance with the gun. Like, how did all that come together? How did he scale the roof? How did he get down from there? How was he walking normally? And then he's got it somehow stuffed down his pants and then he hid it in the wood. Like, none of it really works. There's always a passport that's found as well. Have you noticed that? In all of these instances, there's always like some really convenient evidence that is just found that ties everything up in a nice little bow. So let me know what you guys think. I found that incredibly strange. I didn't show that when I first saw it because I just didn't know what it was. I found it so weird to see people acting like that I just, again, I couldn't internalize it. But now it kind of makes sense. If those people were all communicating and they were all supposed to be there and they were directing him on where to go and what to do, and then they spotted someone that shouldn't be there, that all makes sense to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you do like the channel, like I said, please subscribe and I'll see you on the next one. I'm sick of this stuff. I'm sick of it. Everyone says that it's like a psyop every time something like this happens. But when you see videos like this, what else can you think? What else can you think? And I did say in my video, if you want to go watch it, the very first thing that I said was, when I found out that they were attacking a Jewish festival, I was like, oh, well, fuck this. I don't know what's going on. Like, fucking hell, it could be anything then. It could be absolutely anything. Because we all know that they just don't stop lying. And I'm talking about all sides, from government to Islam to the people we're not allowed to mention openly because, you know, if you can't criticize one group of people, that doesn't mean anything, guys. You just want to ignore that. All right, I'll see you later. I've probably said enough.